This here is the all-new Hyundai Elite i20 in fairy red. It's got a new front bumper, new lamp, as well as some changes to the back. But how is it on the inside, and is it now a better product than its main rivals? Let's find out on the show today. Well, so what are the big changes on the inside of the new Elite i20? You get this huge touchscreen over here now, which is very similar to the one found on the bigger Verna, and it is a nice and easy system to operate, and the brightness is also very good even on the brightest of sunny days. It is an easy system to use, and it has Android Auto as well as the Apple CarPlay system on it, which means that you can mimic your phone's apps over here directly. Utility places, the cabin remains a good place to be in. You get a couple of beverage holders over here, you get a big tray over here, and the door bins are also large enough to house those big 1 liter bottles. But at the moment there isn't a bottle over here because that bottle has been kept in the glove box, because the glove box is air cooled. So that's a great feature that this car has, which some of its rivals still don't offer. And in terms of extra features, for the first time you get a distance to empty meter over here on the gauges, as well as live fuel economy. Well, the Elite i20's cabin quality has always been very good. All the materials have been first rate inside this car. You get these nice switches over here, which are very nice to operate. And in terms of finding any faults, you won't be able to find any faults in terms of the materials as well as the overall switchgear. There's one area where Hyundai could improve this car, and that is the support for the lower back, which is slightly on the softer side. That's something that maybe Hyundai should think about improving on the next upgrade for the i20. Well, another big addition on the Elite i20 for people who really are very conscious about safety kit is the fact that you now get 6 airbags as an option in the top-end version of the car. That's something that Hyundai had removed from the Elite. The original i20 had that, but they've taken it off once the new Elite was launched. But now they've brought it back into the newer version of this car. So that's something that you can choose. And even the base version of this car comes with ABS, airbags, as well as auto safety kit as standard equipment. Well, so if you're sitting here in the back seat, you'll be as impressed as you were in the earlier Elite i20. Headroom is more than adequate for someone who is my height, which for reference is 5'10". So people who are about 6'2" or 6'3" should be quite okay over in these seats. Headroom also is pretty decent, and I have adjusted the front seat for my driving position. There is a little bit of place below the front seats where I can stretch my feet. So it is a nice place to be in. The floor panel over here also is almost flattish. It is a slight hump in the floor panel, but it's not too much. So whoever sitting here has plenty of place. Now, in terms of outright knee room, it is behind the Maruti Suzuki Baleno, but at par with the Maruti Suzuki Swift. But one area where the Elite i20 trumps both the Maruti siblings is in the fact that you get your own AC vents at the back. And even though the thoroughfare might not be the strongest, it is definitely a very welcome feature when you're driving around in the hot and very humid months of May, June and July here in the northern part of India. It is something which buyers will truly appreciate. So knee room could have been slightly better, but yes, it does have that extra bit of kit in terms of the rear AC vents. Well, in terms of boot capacity, the Elite i20 2018 is just as impressive as the outgoing car. It's officially 285 liters. And as you can see, there is a bit of a loading sill, but you can forgive it for having that sill because it is a nice and wide boot. There's absolutely no suspension intrusion into it. And for those airport transfers, you can load in this car with a couple of bags to send your Canada ki Masi back home in. It's a nice boot for those airport transfers. Well, so the Elite i20 is still focused towards city driving, and why do I say that? Well, because you get a very light steering wheel, the clutch action is also very light and very linear, and the gearbox also is on the lighter and easier to operate side. So it is a very good car for city driving. Visibility also all across is excellent. The pillar here isn't very chubby, so you can easily look around it, and even the window at the back offers you a very good view. And it is a nice and easy car to drive around town. In fact, the steering is so light on this car that you can simply move it around with your finger, and of course that's something we won't recommend, but you can do it. And parking this car into tight spaces also is a very breezy affair. So it is the quintessential city car, and a great one at that. In terms of power delivery, the 1.2 liter petrol engine is really all the engine that you will need. Power delivery is quite okay. There is a little bit of laziness in the lower end of the band, but in the mid-range and the top end it is quite decent. It's a rev-happy engine, which means that if you rev it too much, it won't really become noisy. And refinement levels are also within acceptable limits. There is hardly any wind noise and absolutely no tire noise, even when you're driving this car at higher highway speeds. Well, the gearbox on the Elite i20 is a nice and slick unit. It's a very crisp unit as well, and even the clutch is a light and easy to operate clutch. The throws also are very short on this gearbox, so gear changing in the city should not be an issue. The manual petrol version comes with a 5-speed gearbox, while the diesel gets a 6-speed unit, and that extra gear gives it greater flexibility on the highway. Well, in terms of overall ride comfort, at slow city speeds, the Elite i20's suspension does soak in all those bumps quite nicely and quite easily, and you really won't have to slow down for those rumble strips as well. You can easily just glide over them. At faster speeds also, it remains relatively well planted if you're driving it within acceptable and legal speed limits. If you're driving it around 90 kph or 100 kph, it remains decent in terms of its overall feel. Now, the suspension is on the softer side, which means that at slow city speeds, it really does deal with those potholes and badly patched up roads quite well. The steering wheel does feel slightly on the lighter side, but it is more than okay in terms of its feedback. And as I just said, if you're pushing it into corners, there is a little bit of body roll, because remember, this car really is a sensible and practical premium hatchback rather than a sporty hatchback, so you can't expect it to be diving into those corners and offering you sporty saloon-like handling. So in that sense, it is a car which errs on the side of comfort rather than on the side of sportiness. So that's something that you need to think about. Other than that, it is a nice little package. It's refined. It offers you excellent visibility. It offers you very good engines, and the gearbox and steering also are nice and easy to operate. Well, even on some broken tarmacs and badly patched up roads, you can drive this car quite easily, because the suspension is on the softer side and it does soak in those bumps. It's really the highway speeds that sometimes you have to slow down, because it is slightly softer, so that can be a little bit of tread depth, but apart from that, it is a nice car. So overall, the Elite i20 is good to look at, is good for features and equipment, it's good to drive, and it is a car which will definitely have you wowing over it, because it has that certain feel-good factor which some of its rivals still don't possess. And as I just said, it is one of the best cars out there in the market if you're in the market for, of course, a premium hatchback. Well, so what do I think of the new Elite i20? Is it a car that you should consider if you're buying a new premium hatchback? To be honest, it is one of the best cars out there in the market, and it is the quintessential city premium hatchback, which can also do some highway duties. It comes with a big boot, it comes with a very premium and plush interior, it comes with a long list of features and also a long list of safety kit. And that's not all, it also comes with a refined set of diesel and petrol engines, which makes it a no-brainer. It really is one of the best small cars, and you should definitely shortlist it if you're in the market for a premium hatchback. It's bye for now, and hope to see you soon.